Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pal of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop us a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes a massive way to helping the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue number 86 of Imperium magazine and we have part 1 of 3 for our Redemptor Dreadnought from the Space Marines. Now, a pretty cool unit. There is a lot going on with it, a lot of small parts, a lot of little bits and pieces. Now, the one thing you are going to be able to do is, because you will be left with quite a few spare parts, is be able to use those spare parts for stuff like, for instance, objective markers. So if you get yourself some cheap bases, you can get them on good old eBay or from Amazon, you can get them from other companies. You can stick spare parts down onto them. So if you have like a load of your old sprues and you've got spare parts from, say, the Necrons or your Paragon warsuits or anything like that, you can utilize them with other bits and pieces and on these bases to make a objective marker, instead of just having, say, I don't know, a barrel on there, or I don't know, a small little cardboard token. You could make something that makes it look like they're after an objective and they need to recover something from this wreckage or a weapon of importantness or anything like that. So, you know, you can do stuff like that, which is what I intend to do with some of the spare parts from this kit especially. So, yeah, definitely worth keeping some of it, but otherwise, the main thing is we're not going to be able to build, obviously, the kit in the first week because we need to wait for the other two parts. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of spares, I think, from that. So really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to it as well. Into the magazine we go. First off, we are greeted by our Redemptor Dreadnought. These are heavily armed war walkers. So, Redemptor Dreadnoughts are colossal war machines armed with an array of devastating weapons. Each of these towering walkers is piloted by a space marine who fell in battle, only to voluntarily continue the fight by being sealed within a Redemptor Dreadnought's sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is the middle section, which is just here, underneath all that armour, and yeah, they've been kind of killed in battle, and then they're kind of locked in this dreadnought, and it's yeah, it's a weird thing, and I never fully understand it, in all honesty, but yeah, if it works, it works, so why not? Obviously, on here we've got a lot of weapons being mentioned, so whether it is the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, heavy flamers, we have Redemptor fists, Icarus rocket pods, macro plasma incinerator, storm bolters, all mentioned here. There's a lot going on, so there's a lot of weaponry, and it's pretty damn cool. So really good stuff. So obviously, when we've got all of the kit, pick your loadout wisely. You can obviously, if you wanted to, try and magnetize things. I personally, I'm not bothering magnetizing stuff because I just haven't got the energy to do it and the time to try and make sure it's right. But if you've got the time and you've got the skills and you want to do it, why not? Have at it, you know? Should be pretty good. On the other page, obviously, you do your usual battle records, so you can name them. Their manifests as well, you can also get on there as well, so you record all their tallies, whether they won a battle with the Redemptor Dreadnought is deployed, their kills, whether they used their Redemptor fist and stuff like that, yeah. But otherwise, really good stuff, and worth having a nosy through, so happy days. Moving on, we get more information about one of the other heroes from the 41st millennium, Astorath the Grim. So, there is no rank within the Blood Angels more honoured or loathed than the Redeemer of the Lost. Its bearer must carry terrible burdens and enact harsh duties. The Redeemer is reviled, for he carries the blood of his brothers upon his hands, a stain that can never be removed. So, Astorath the Grim seeks out those souls so tainted by the Black Rage that not even death in battle is possible for them. To these tortured individuals he brings a swift mercy, beheading them with a single stroke from his weapon of office, the executioner's axe. So, obviously, the Blood Angels have a lot of history and a lot of, weird lore and stuff like that I must admit, even I struggle to get my head around sometimes. But they are really, really cool. Obviously, Astorath the Grim has some very unique armour, looking at it like it's all kind of ropey, muscular and sinewy, which is pretty damn cool, and also having some pretty large, wings, which is odd. But yeah, really, really good, and it's another hero that we get to learn about, which is, really, really handy. And obviously, things are going to change in the 41st millennium, with 10th edition coming up in the very near future. So, really pretty decent and good fun. On the other page, we get more information about one of the other heroes, obviously Lemartius, probably said that wrong, of the Death Company. He's a guardian of lost souls, of the lost, for few knew the nuances and edicts of the cult Sanguinius, or the doctrines and beliefs of the Blood Angels and their successors better than the chaplain Lemartius. For all his wisdom and knowledge, however, the chaplain was no less vulnerable to the effects of the Black Rage. Now, another hero who has unique armour, so obviously he wears black armour instead of your standard red Blood Angels armour. Pretty cool. More information, so if you want the Blood Angels lore and stuff like that, this is definitely a page for you. But yeah, really, really good stuff, and it's quite interesting to read as well. So I'm not going to read through all of it, because it is definitely worth your time to have a read through and find out some of the absolute craziness of some of the characters in the 41st millennium. Moving on, we move into one of the other war zones, Katachan. So the hardened jungle fighters of the Death World Katachan have served the Astra Militarum with distinction for millennia. When their homeworld came under attack, they resolved to defend it no matter the cost of lives and material. So, Katachan, if you're unaware, is quite famous for being Katachan green, one of the colour paints, and also having a jungle theme to it, which is pretty damn cool. So, the Astra Militarum, or good old Imperium of Man, have utilised it as a pretty damn cool world, and they have served with distinction for the good old Imperium as well. And they have some really, really cool fighters, so they look good, they look pretty damn cool, and they look like they're straight out of films like Commando, or good old Arnold Schwarzenegger's crew from The Predator, and much, much more. Definitely worth having a nosy through, because big muscular blokes carrying big massive guns, wearing tank tops, which is just weird unless you're into that type of thing. But it works, it does the job for them, which is the main thing. Then we move forward, we get more information about Tyranids. Obviously Tyranids are very, very important for Warhammer 40k 10th edition, because that is the new big bad. New old big bad, should I say. So Tyranids often first travel by bioforms, and they are lethal enough to overwhelm a planet's defences. However, on occasions, the defenders prove more resilient, and the Tyranid high fleets have developed many lethal strains of creature to deal with obstinate foes. So there's a lot to them. So with the Tyranids, obviously some of them do carry guns, which look very weird, but there are many different forms, whether it's Hive Tyrants, whether it's Raveners, Termagorn, stuff like that. They utilise spores and stuff like that, so they are a very, very alien race, and far more savage and barbaric than every other one of them as well. So they are full living organisms that love to kill, slice, damage, eat and destroy everything in their path. So not bad at all. Then moving on, we move back into kind of learning about other chapters of Space Marines, Sons of Blood. So Savage and Feral, the Flesh Tearers, have established a reputation for ruthlessness and are feared as much by their supposed allies as their enemies. So the Flesh Tearers were formed during the second founding as a crusading fleet-based force. They swept the stars for traitors slaughtering the enemies of mankind without mercy. Rumours of their savagery abounded, and collateral damage caused by their wars was shocking even by the Imperium's standards. And yet, beset by warfare, the Imperium lacked the inclination or resources to investigate the chapter, reasoning that so long as traitors were being purged, the violence was only for the better. So, all for the greater good in some kind of horrible way. The flesh tearers do like to have a bit of collateral damage in their wake, which is not always a good thing, but in the eyes of the Imperium, it gets the job done, which is the main thing. We also find out more information about the devastation of Baal. So when High Fleet Leviathan descended upon Baal, the Flesh Tearers joined their fellow Blood Angel successors in battling the Tyrannid Hide, and they fought at the forefront of every conflict, hurling themselves into the fray with reckless abandon, because they're a bit weird and a bit nuts. Very similar kind of armour colour scheme to the Blood Angels, red, but only with mostly black shoulder pads, helmets and backpacks. And they look different, they look pretty cool and not bad at all. Then we move forward, we get a story from the jungles and wilds of Katachan, and finding out more information about the fighters, and going up against some orcs, which is always really, really good. A pretty decent story, pretty lengthy as well, in all honesty. Definitely worth a read, because some of them are really cool and they include awesome artwork like that, which just, looks pretty damn cool. So, not bad at all there. And then obviously we move on. We get our data sheet for our Redemptor Dreadnought. Keep this safe because you're going to need it. And obviously, a lot going on with it. So depending on what your weapons are, you need to kind of keep an eye on them. It takes a bit of damage. It can do quite a lot. It has quite a higher power ranking as well. So if you are going to be fielding it, make sure you have enough power to kind of supply it and keep it going. But otherwise, it's a good unit, so definitely worth a nosy at. And then you get your tutorial about its weapons. Have a read through it if you're going to be using it. I'm not going to be reading through it until we've completed it and I've decided what weapons I'm getting on there, in all honesty. And then we have our battle. So, repel the invaders, a 75 power mission using all 4 battle mats as per usual. It's kind of one player deploys from 2 zones and one just in the middle of the board, and have fun. Not bad at all. Moving on though, obviously next week and the week after, so 87 and 88 is the other parts to our Redemptor Dreadnought. Entirely up to you if you go for that build, which is what the magazine's aiming towards, or if you want to change out weapons. I'm not unsure yet. I'm still kind of unsure whether I'm going with that colour, with that paint, that kind of build scheme, or if I'm going to go something different. Personally, I think something different, but I might change my mind when we've got it all. But yeah, it's what it is. Otherwise, a pretty decent issue. So lots of story, lots of lore and history about other chapters and heroes from other chapters. So it's been good, not bad. We'll get more stuff next week, so we'll get painting build guides over the next 2 issues. We'll get more stories, more campaign missions, more info, probably more heroes and stuff like that, more stuff about the Tyrannids. Yeah, all good stuff. All in the preparation for good old 10th edition, which will be good fun. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye bye now.